All right, today we're diving deep into a single scientific study, but trust me, it's a fascinating one. It's all about a massive breakthrough in animal health that's having a huge impact on dairy farms. We're going to see how one really smart piece of science can change, well, pretty much everything. Let's get right into it. So, let me ask you something right off the bat. What do you think is one of the single biggest threats to cattle? The answer is a virus. A virus that causes billions, with a B, in losses, and a whole lot of animal suffering every year. It's basically public enemy number one for farmers all over the world. And here it is. Meet the villain of our story. Bovine viral diarrhea virus, or just BVD. Now, don't let the name fool you. This tiny pest virus is a giant problem. It's incredibly contagious, it spreads like a ghost through herds, and it just absolutely wreaks havoc on the health and the productivity of cattle everywhere. Okay, so to really appreciate the solution that we're about to see, we first have to get a handle on just how big of a problem this virus really is once it gets inside a herd. You see, BVDV isn't just a one-trick pony. It's more like a cascade of disasters. It messes with the herd's ability to reproduce, leading to infertility and miscarriages. For the calves that are born, it can cause really severe birth defects. And maybe worst of all, it suppresses the cow's immune system, which opens the door for all sorts of other nasty diseases to come rushing in. It's a perfect storm of health problems, all from this one virus. And here's the secret weapon that makes BVDV so successful and so destructive. A small number of calves, if they get infected while they're still in the womb, can become what's called persistently infected, or PI animals. Now, these PI animals, they are lifelong, 24/7 virus factories. They walk around seemingly healthy, but are constantly shedding billions of virus particles, making sure the entire herd is always exposed. But where there's a villain, science loves to step in and create a hero. And that brings us to the solution in this story, a brand new, super specific shield designed to fight back against BVDV. So here's the key thing to understand. Not all vaccines are made equal. You can think of the old school vaccines as kind of a sledgehammer approach, using the whole virus, either killed or weakened. This new BVD-targeted vaccine is way more like a scalpel. It's a subunit vaccine, which means it only uses one tiny, specific, and totally harmless piece of the virus. And here's the brilliant part. It's attached to a special molecule that acts like a GPS, taking that piece directly to the most important immune cells. It's just a much smarter way to do it. So in this huge 10-year study, 6 big dairy farms in Argentina brought this new vaccine into their normal routine. And the protocol was pretty simple, really. Young heifers got their first dose and a couple of boosters, and the adult cows got 2 shots a year, timed perfectly around calving and getting pregnant. So the farms put up this new targeted shield. And the big question is, did it work? Well, what happened next was, honestly, nothing short of a dramatic turnaround. The data really tells the story here. Let's kick things off with one of the most important numbers on any dairy farm, getting cows pregnant. Before they started using this vaccine, the conception rate was hovering around 39%. After they brought the vaccine in, look at that, it jumped to 43.5%. That is a really meaningful leap in how efficiently the herd could reproduce. To put that number into perspective, that's an 11% relative jump. But what that actually meant, according to the study, was that a vaccinated cow had a 22% better chance of getting pregnant from a single insemination. That is a total game changer for a farm's success. And the good news just keeps coming. Let's look at a really tough but critical number, newborn calf mortality. Before the vaccine, a heartbreaking 6 out of every 100 calves didn't survive their first day. After vaccination, that number dropped to just 4 out of 100. That is a 1/3 drop in newborn deaths. Think about that. Healthier moms were having healthier babies. It meant a calf born on one of these vaccinated farms had an incredible 61% better chance of making it through that crucial first day. Just amazing. So what happens when you have healthier, stronger cows that aren't constantly fighting off a virus? You guessed it, they're more productive. The vaccinated herds saw a 9% increase in the average amount of milk each cow produced every single day. This is a direct line from better animal health to a better bottom line. Now, those individual stats are pretty mind-blowing on their own, but the real power of this study comes when you look at all the data together. So let's zoom out and see the full picture, especially how these farms did compared to others that didn't use the new vaccine. I mean, just look at this table. It's honestly remarkable. The consistency is what's so stunning. Conception rate, up. Abortion rate, down. Days open, which is that unproductive time for a cow, dropped by 11 days. Mortality for both newborns and the whole herd, way down. And of course, milk production, up. Every single key metric improved. And this slide, this is the smoking gun. This shows us why it works so well. The vaccine didn't just protect one cow at a time. It basically cleaned the virus out of the entire herd. In the vaccinated farms, evidence that the virus was even around plummeted to just 5%. Now, compare that to the nearby unvaccinated farms, where almost half the animals showed signs of infection. It basically starved the virus. And here it is, the final proof. This is really the ultimate bottom line. How many live calves were born over the long run? Now, the control farms did get a little bit better over the decade, about a 10% improvement. But the vaccinated farms? They saw a massive 43% increase. That's more than 4 times the improvement, proving this effect was real, and it was driven by the vaccine. Okay, so we've looked at a ton of data, a ton of numbers. But what does it all mean? Why should we care about this beyond the farm? Let's connect these dots to the bigger picture. You know, the researchers who actually did the study summed it up perfectly. This isn't just a small change. When you get more milk every day and your cows are pregnant and productive for more of the year, well, that adds up to a huge economic win for these farms, making them much more stable and successful. So here's the crucial takeaway. This whole story is bigger than just one virus or one vaccine. It's this perfect case study that shows when we invest in smart, targeted science, it's a win-win-win. The animals are healthier, which is the right thing to do. The farmers are more profitable, and because we're stopping the virus at the source, we can reduce the need for other things like antibiotics. And ultimately, build a stronger, more reliable food supply for all of us. And that leaves us with this final, really exciting question. What we've seen here is a proof of concept. It worked brilliantly for BVDV, so it just makes you wonder. If this kind of precise, targeted science can solve such a massive problem for the dairy industry, what other big, thorny challenges in farming and maybe even in human health are just waiting for their own targeted shield?